justice system for approving changes if there's anything significant event-wise, similar to the form that we use for the green. You know, it's for so that there's some kind of consistent.
Who is now in charge of changing the colors?
But just maintenance at this point. We have.
Maintenance.
I mean, we're not fully technically operational. Some of the Wi-Fi stuff isn't on, and some of the exterior lights aren't on. So it's still under construction technically because we aren't fully operational. But I thought if we had a form that a commissioner and a judge had to sign, and it had to be somebody could submit. Because I just got a request for making it orange for an event, and I think there should be some approval. It doesn't have to be a committee or a.
Is there some way to have a simple online submitted here to Stacy if someone's interested, and then you can fire it off to whoever the designee is from there, from here? And
Well, what do we do with the courthouse lawn?
No, they send all the applications to me.
but
How do they get the application?
Online, or they'll call our office and we'll email it to them.
Okay, I mean, I think that's okay, isn't it?
it just seems like a lengthy form for this, but maybe it's necessary. I don't know. Because it asks various.
We can scale it down to just what the event is, or reason behind the color. I don't know.
I guess do we need any parameters of request could be for a week, a month, a day, a weekend?
I don't know, I don't think so.
Just not worry about that, okay.
What do you require for use of 30 days, 10 days? If they want to use courthouse lawn, how much previous notice do they need to give us?
I'm not sure what the application said.
10 days, I think.
At least.
I mean, this would
I
be
think
the same
just
thing.
mirror it.
It's kind of first come, first served. If there's already a request in, then they will. Nice tunes, Mike. I like that.
He's taking care of business.
That's right, that's what he does.
Lock Turner Overdrive.
Everyone
That's
needs
why
a theme
somebody
song,
should
you know?
re-elect you. Takes care of business. Is that your tagline?
Well,
It should
we can change it though.
I can take our other one and.
You just kind of do an informal poll right now, like, and say, is this okay?
I can.
I mean, is that what you do
With
now?
the grounds
With the
application,
grounds
yeah.
application?
Yeah, she forwards it to,
Yeah, the approval is the sheriff, the judges, and that's who approves it right now.
We don't approve that?
Do not.
we have
How'd
input.
that happen?
I don't know.
I know the sheriff would need to approve the color.
Because it.
But the
well,
color, I don't know
sher-
that needs to be.
It's for that, an event. When the
Right.
courthouse lawn and
Yeah.
security is required, that's
Right.
what his approval is.
Okay.
And then the other two are the judges.
Well, I would just say, if we get a judge and a commissioner to approve it, they come to you. Is that all right with you guys? I mean, I don't need to create a bureaucracy.
No.
Yeah, we just, yeah. Okay.
Unless it's a problem.
I can't imagine it would ever offend anybody with any color.
No.
Who knows?
We'll just
Do
try
you
and
have a problem with me okaying it, or do I need to come to
No,
you?
I don't have.
No, that's fine.
That's
I
fine.
mean, if something's controversial, obviously I'll
Right.
ask, but
Give me a situation in which it would be controversial.
I'm not gonna, nope,
I should not go in there?
nope, not going there.
Well, we had a
Jimmy's
very,
girlfriend's birthday.
I can think of a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think we ought to.
Ron's
there was a-
retirement from Bloomville.
yeah, something
That's
that's
passed.
more personal than
Has to be a
charitable,
black
than
light. Yeah.
community-wide. It needs to be a community-wide
Yeah,
thing
like
instead of
that.
versus
Now
personal.
you're really opening it up, yeah. Okay.
Well, but versus, we had a younger Mr. Kirschner yesterday joking with us, and he goes, that'd be really cool for somebody's birthday. And he was talking about, because he was talking about his nice stroll around the Justice Center and the building. And,
There you go.
yeah.
Pay a nominal fee, maybe.
We're pimp
Donation.
out.
Pimp out my
Except for
Justice
you,
Center.
Jimmy.
We aren't cheap, but we are for sale.
There's your headline.
You got it. Yeah,
He can't be bought, but he can be rented reasonably.
Is it possible to get more light on Lady Justice up there?
Not easily. Yeah, we looked at that
Did you?
at the front end, and the wingspan of the lights would have had to be so great it would have been very conspicuous. And so the only real option was we had to light her from that top, just because the way she's contoured, or light her from the ground, which would have been a very powerful kind of So, I think they did the best they could. She would be great lit from the top down, but
Yes.
how do you do that,
Yes.
right?
Just light the torch.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can ever figure out a way, it'd be nice to get.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be open to suggestions, but our lighting people looked at that pretty intently.
Yeah, we've had that before, Tommy, that
I'm
you can
sure.
only see like the bottom half or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just shining it up her skirt.
Yeah.
That's basically how I described it yesterday. We were talking about that. I said, it looks like she's trying to up her skirt, but that's.
No
Hey, but
comment.
what percentage of the day, depending on the time of year, she's in full nature's light anyway. And,
Yeah,
But,
no, it's,
but
you know
yeah.
she's there.
Full
Yeah.
nature's light.
Well, you know, the sunshine.
You need a poet today.
Sure, whatever. Too much caffeine, I don't know.
The other thing we talked about was the
Sugar.
lawn and how we're going to approach that this summer.
Yeah,
Maybe
very
we
good.
might just-
I had that next too.
Okay.
You know, the thought process amongst a couple of judges is, you know, that they will chip in for some sod because the lawn will take so long to progress and et cetera, et cetera. Now, the latest numbers that I had, and I don't know whether or not these are gonna hold up, was that it's gonna be about $2,500 to put grass seed in and water. Sod, the latest they had was about $12,000. The judges had said they would contribute. Well, I think I know Holly's vote. The judges
I
said
really had too much sugar.
they would contribute $5,000, and we got a $4,000 credit coming from Gilbane for grass. So, it looks like, you know, in theory, we'd be about $1,000 short on putting sod down. Now, I don't know what all that included, how much, up to the current grass, I think, whatever that means.
Yeah, you must got an update sooner from John than I did. The last time I heard it was higher than that.
Yeah, well, you got in the second bid, I think you had a chance before you left, but, and it may end up getting higher than that. So, the question is, do we want to proceed trying to get some bids on the sod, or do we want to just seed it and hope for the best?
How much did you say the side was? 12,000? And the
Break,
grass seed
again,
would be
breaking
like
it down,
2,500?
2,500 it would have been for the seed. We get a $4,000 credit from Gilbane's for the yard, and the judges have agreed to pay 5,000 of it. So we're 1,000 short, basically to do the sod, if those numbers don't change. But I think that's something you take up with landscaping, Shane.
Yeah.
Talk, I mean, my preference would be, since we spent as much time and effort on this as we have, it certainly would be nice to have that looking good.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that, I don't know from any personal experience, but, other than doing seed, but I'm sure there's intense maintenance either way to make sure we taking care of the investment.
Yeah, you did,
Um,
yeah.
You know, whether it's seeded and or sodded, but I don't know from sod if that's anything more intense or not, but
Has there been
that's an
any
investment to
talk?
protect.
Was there talk about sprinklers in there?
We had not talked about sprinklers, only to the extent that we talked about not creating things that we had to maintain and that may fail.
Yeah.
You know,
okay.
sprinklers and some plantings were
Well, everything we're talking about.
discounted because of that.
Everything we're talking about doing sprinklers is probably the least expensive. I think they're talking about $1,200 or something. It might be nice at least to have those in for a couple of years. And if you go past somebody's lawn who has them and somebody's lawn who doesn't have them, there's usually a world of difference,
Yeah.
especially in the dry season. So,
Yeah, I felt like, you know, if there was a trade up to sod and it wasn't that expensive, using we have $4,000 credit towards that.
right.
You know, I mean, I thought that was reasonable, especially if the judges wanted to kick in. But I felt like we were further apart than that, so I haven't seen those numbers
Well, there was
recently,
an
because we
addition-
had a bid to
There was
just
an
see
additional bid of
$2,500.
$17,000.
Okay,
And they were bringing the sod in from south someplace.
okay,
Evidently, I talked to somebody who has a sod farm in southern Michigan or in Toledo. And that bid was significantly less than that, mostly because of the travel expense or the delivery expense. So again, don't hold me to that 12, because I don't know if that's true, but that's the number they're kicking around. And then I'm not sure whether it's all of it, or
Yeah.
just the stuff.
yeah, in front of the annex is gonna need some work, whether it's reseeding or it's gonna be need to be torn up and put it back down.
Yeah,
Because it never took, really. I mean, so,
And then
A
you.
couple $1,000 is at our choking point to go back, so we don't.
Now,
have
let's
to
see what the
revisit
number, I mean, what I'd like to do is make it an option in the landscaping committee and, you know, come up with a number and then we can decide whether we're choking our coffee or not.
It's tea, but.
Yeah,
But while we're on that same topic, then, there's been some requests to do things on the courthouse lawn for this summer.
Mhm.
And I think we, just friendly put that out there that we're gonna stay off the lawn for this year as we get,
Yeah.
it's no indication of the way we're gonna treat that in the future. We want people to use it as their front yard, but, we're not, we wanna get it a healthy start.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta get it
So-
established, either way, whichever process we go through.
It's
gotta-
no reflection on the people that want to use it, we just want it to get a good, healthy start. But we probably won't ever be able to bring back the ice rink to the yard, because if we're gonna invest in sod or grass, we know that
And the layout of the sidewalks, I'm
and the
not sure it's going
sidewalks
to.
and the storm, so that's probably not coming back there, so.
Yeah.
I guess that's another thing. But I know we just had a recent one that wanted to
Mhm.
move up there, so if we can just tell them that, next year, we hope to be in a good shape.
yeah.
Because we want activity there. It's the
Right.
centerpiece of our community, so, but,
In fact, I don't know how you do it, but you should encourage the people for the first year to try to stay on the sidewalk.
Yeah,
some ropes, some tasers.
Something,
yeah. In the sign committee, speaking of Justice Center stuff, we meet today at noon.
The sign committee meets today.
We meet at noon to go over whatever issues are still out there. And if there's the outside sign, then I think there's questions on some stuff on the inside, but, so we'll be going over all of that stuff to confirm. And the time capsule group, I'm just about ready to send out an email to them on us gathering to go over the final stuff of the time capsule. And I'm gonna, unbeknownst to them, maybe dwarf them into oversight of the ribbon cutting just for input
Yeah.
and, that kind of thing, because we've had a nice diverse group that's been happy with the time capsule. And I've got coming through your desks for feedback today on the printed invite.
Okay.
If you want to see the invite list, that is, I've got that land, I didn't put that with that stuff. An initial draft of the program for the day, but that is, obviously we got time on that, we're over a month out. But the invite, we need to finish up by the end of the week so I can get them printed and mailed.
Okay.
Did we firm up 3 o'clock? Are we gonna do
3 o'clock is on the.
That's what I put on that, again, that's to be confirmed,
We have not heard from the speaker yet, right?
other than through Representative Reineke.
And he said that we were,
I think he said that, but I can,
okay.
and
I
again,
didn't
his
know.
name's not on the invite, but for the time
Right,
factor,
okay.
I guess maybe I should touch base with,
Yeah, just to make sure.
with
it works.
Representative Reineke today. Okay, I'll do that. Make sure I do that.
Has either of you, this really isn't our responsibility, but have either of you got any phone calls about some of the damaged headstones and the fallen trees at Greenlawn Cemetery? Okay, I've got a couple of calls, I didn't know whether you guys.
Like vandalized or
No,
fallen?
a storm came through, that wind shear came through, and it's been
Yeah.
last spring, and
Oh.
it's really been tough there. I go through there all the time, so people are starting to be concerned about whether, it looks like they're trying to make some progress, I mean.
Yeah, they've got volunteers going out and helping. I mean, it does look like the wrath of God went through there.
Yeah,
It's-
I mean, I
it's
think-
tragic.
As much as the trees, which is bad, but there's a number of gravestones damaged. and-
Pulled up, yeah, I actually walked that the other day because we had a conversation with them about including them in the active transportation plan. And, at this point, they've opted to not be in it, but I've gotten in contact with them.
I talked to a couple people, I just want to make sure there wasn't a widespread concern. All right.
So on the sign committee, are we okay with putting the address on the exterior sign? Is that still a?
We haven't met since we got that estimate on adding it to the building.
Okay.
But I'm planning on asking their input on that, and I think if it's on the sign close to the road, that takes care of that. Versus it was kind of pricey to add 103 East Market to the building, since it's all after the thought and because of the lift and it needed to be after hours. There was a number of things that started to make that
Yeah.
seeming a little ridiculous price-wise, but we'll discuss it today and see.
Well, my suggestion would be to put it on the sign outside the building.
Yeah,
And if it continues to be an issue in 6 months or whatever, people, then we
Yeah.
can talk about
yeah.
doing something else.
Yeah, I mean, the general consensus initially was, and I get that, if you're, in a large area, maybe you're trying to find a building by address that isn't got a big marquee sign,
Yeah.
and you're in and you don't see any building numbers on buildings, you don't know what block you're in and so forth, but for a little bit smaller area and it's kind of a standalone with Old Trinity Church,
If somebody's
block.
gonna tip, you can't find a courthouse.
yeah. I didn't want to say it that way, but yeah,
Whole nother problem.
pretty much.
Yeah, okay. All right, anything else?
We have the reveal of the branding initiative.
That's gonna be next Monday, we talked about that last week. We thought it was last
I thought it was last night, I couldn't find the paper, then Stacy said, no, it's next week.
Okay.
So
David says he was gonna come to our meeting Tuesday, he's
Tuesday.
going to the city
Monday.
Monday.
Yeah. So, we may want to talk, you may want to talk about that sign committee, that if that new information
Oh,
is
yeah.
available, it could go in
Yeah.
the sign and.
Yeah.
And then if you just want to keep the sign committee rolling, you can use them as our branding committee as well.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Time caps money into this one, that one, into that one, then nobody
Yeah.
will sign up for a committee ever
Everything-
again.
Yeah, right. It's a lifetime
We go,
appointment.
We're done, what's with this?
I do know the sign committee doesn't want the bell, but they said the bell could go to the
Landscape
landscape
committee,
committee.
you get the bell.
I didn't even know we had a bell.
We have a bell.
Did you know about this?
Correct?
It's, no, it is not, it's the Centennial Bell, they cast during Ohio's bicentennial, and each county got a bell,
Okay.
so that was back in, well, anyway, it was a while ago. But,
I had a bell.
it's,
I had a
it's,
hammer.
Yeah.
it's on a cart kind of a thing, but it's at the fairgrounds in the buildings, and their spring
Was it at the
buildings are being
previous-
emptied because they use them for storage, if we needed to get to
Was
it.
it at the previous courthouse?
It was in the annex.
It was in the annex,
It was.
yeah.
So it was never,
It
it's like
hasn't,
15 years old, is that, it's not like 100 years old?
no, it was just one cast for each county during the bicentennial. But it was in the annex, and then it's been in the Veterans Building, kind of on display during the fair. Sometimes they've requested it there, and then I think it's kind of just stayed out there since that request, and that was like in 13 or 14, they asked us to have it out there for that. So, it's just, we have it to use however,
Maybe I have a permit on, and maybe, how about the museum? Maybe do it like
it's, yeah, because it's not a small thing, so. They can't put it in the museum, I don't think, very easily.
Is that a bid for the 4th floor?
If you think it'll hold it, I'd be honored to have it. 2003, I believe. Assuming we
2003
became a
was, I
state
thought.
in 1803. I wasn't
There you
born
go.
yet. but My mom and dad were, so. I think it was 1803 plus a couple hundred years.
That makes sense.
They cast it out at the primitive village. Is that enough history for you?
that. That's good.
I don't think they cast it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Out
cast
at
them on site.
Hedges Boyer Park.
Oh, wow.
It was quite a shindig.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, there you go.
And, or, like I said, at the fairway, use it somewhere else other than just in that building, or, I think Stacy said the thought at one point was talk about parades, but how to bring something up that you can pull it.
Is it on a wagon or is it?
It's just on a
Not a,
Skid?
not.
platform or something, I don't know if it's really on
Nothing.
The
wheels.
old, the old
Nothing
county car,
reliable.
that's even more reason to get it.
There we go.
Yeah, old tractor. Maybe we should bring it up for the rhythm club.
Well,
It
yeah.
has to be hauled in by a summer.
Really?
No, I don't think it's that big.
That's what Mac's office told me.
No,
Okay.
it wouldn't
You
need,
can
you
pull it
wouldn't
up
need
on
that.
the trailer.
Where is
But it's
that
just a
now?
matter of what, I don't know if it's
Fairgrounds.
on something with wheels or it has to get lifted up and onto something. I don't know if it's on a trailer
Yeah, 'cause-
or if it's on.
The landscape committee will look at the bell and
There,
you know,
bell.
I got a
is that-
spot for it.
we'll decide what we do with the bell.
All
Well,
right.
maybe instead of cannon, we ring the bell.
Yeah.
That has a nice ring to it, right?
I gotta go.
Enough of that stuff.
All right. So, do you have any topics today, Madam Administrator?
Not for a work session,
Okay. Anything else, any input from the group today? We got 10 minutes.
Your Honor, what do you hear? Satisfaction from your clients on the new building?
Well, Most of them are in shackles, so I'm not sure how
How satisfied they are.
unbiased would be.
They didn't get to come in the main
What's
entrance.
the results of the customer satisfaction survey?
How do they like their new private elevator?
Well, certainly security is there. And half the time I can't get through the doors, so.
How is the mail being delivered? I've talked to them a couple of times.
I'm picking my mail up at the clerk's office.
Okay, because I asked them to deliver it to each floor, talk to the postmaster. So far, nothing happened, huh?
The mail person delivered to the 4th floor one time,
Okay.
and I believe his opinion was that he didn't have enough time to do that.
Well, supposedly, Judge, they are shortening his route by a block, or that person's route by a block, so he will have the time to deliver to all 4 floors. Now, whether that actually happens or not, I don't know. I'll follow up.
That would certainly be convenient, but I can go, we go to the clerk's office at some
Okay.
point in time.
Well, we were just concerned, or the conversation was that there are some pieces of mail that are,
Time sensitive.
and sensitive to just a specific court,
That's correct.
so that they ought to be delivered to that court.
I would agree.
So that's what I'm telling them.
Okay.
Anything else? All right, we'll recess for 9 minutes.